technical difficulties with May's audio at one point, but it comes back. We just had to end the call and jump back on. We carried on. Hopefully that's the last of it. Thank you for listening and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the Studentcast. I'm here with my good friend May Martindale.
Hello.
How have you been?
Good, same old.
Still have an anamorphic leg, half cyborg.
2 more days of being a cripple.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
You're a little bit echoey, so I don't know, maybe something.
Oh.
Yeah. I
don't know whether to try with earphones.
Oh, you're okay when you're speaking now. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is have you heard about the A-level results?
Have I? I'm not really opinionated on that sort of thing, but yes, I have, and I was outraged, even though I don't have A-levels. And if this had been when I was in sixth, it wouldn't have affected me because I never even did my exams or same as that. But I still think it's a fucking scandal. But I'm glad they did the U-turn. But I just hope that any 18-year-old now just remembers what the Tories did to them. I'm sorry. I just think they could. They just need to remember what they were going to throw them under the bus.
Yeah, but at the same time, there was a lot of people that were doing terribly and that just got given really good grades for no reason.
Interesting, but just my point was with coronavirus as well. I swear, universities we've got loads less international students now, so they're gonna have to fill the places. And at the end of the day, at university, you and I both know it's all your own work. There's no help there, so you may as well just. Because what was it that guy said about you don't want to over promote people, but at the end of the day, it's your own ability. So giving someone the opportunity is not going to be as bad as not giving them the opportunity, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I just felt sorry for loads of my family, friends, children's. A lot of them were quite upset on results day. I heard there was lots of crying in pubs and stuff.
Yeah, I was driving past a school and I was looking at it. I was like, why is there so many people here? And then I looked at my phone and I saw it's A-level results day.
Yeah.
They didn't even sit any exams. Did they really need to go in to get results? They could have just emailed them.
No, thinking about it, yeah. I didn't even. I'm trying to think how I got my result. Well, I didn't get them. So.
So for people that don't know, you didn't do your A-levels in that sense, but you still went to uni. You did an access course, right?
Yep, access to higher education diploma.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's basically we have I'm not sure what level it is, but you have GCSE is a level I don't know, is it 1 or 2 or 3 or 4?
Yeah.
One of them. Then you got A-levels, but I did the same. I did the equivalent, so it's the same as BTEC level 3, but it's just I don't know how I found it. I was just I dropped out in year 13, maybe before Christmas.
Yeah.
I had enough. I wasn't going to pass chemistry or maths. It was a mix. I had personal stuff going on. I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to sit an exam and then not shit myself. Just fuck it up.
Literally or figuratively?
Both.
Oh.
No, I found it so scary. I remember you did maths as well. I remember sitting my maths S1 exam, and I had to do my exams in a special room because I got that anxious. But I remember opening the paper. It was 8 questions, and I just looked through it all. And I just looked at all of the learning support ladies, and I was like, I can't do this. They let me go half an hour early because I was that bad.
Wow.
It felt sorry for me because I was I can answer one question. I don't think I even did that right, so I got a U in that. And then I just remember at school, everyone was you do UCAS in year 12.
Yeah.
And all my mates were I'm going to apply for Birmingham and I'm going to do this. And then I was just oh, I don't know what to do. And it just got too much, and I just left, and then found this access course in with the University of Kent, and I did that, and I did really well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you think it was worthwhile doing that instead of A levels?
yeah, 100%. I wouldn't say like just depends. I think there should be more options for people. Like, A levels are very like it's all exam. Well,
Mm.
it's all coursework, but my access course, the best thing about it was there was only about you're assessed in like 45 graded credits, and then every module's like 3 credits, so it's about I can't divide 45 by 3. What is it?
I want to maths 5.
No, it's not 15.
No, doesn't matter.
Anyway, but it was like maybe like 15 to 20 different so some would be presentations, some would be essays. A lot of it was essays, and I'm really good at that because you can do that with a Red Bull at 2 in the morning, and it'll still be better than me
Yeah.
getting a good night's sleep, eating a good breakfast, and sitting down for 2 hours in an exam. It's still, I don't know what it is, but I just work better if it's like you've left this last minute, do it now. And
Yeah.
it worked. I got into like all my university choices. They weren't bad unis, but then
So you went to uni. You did your first year more or less.
Yeah.
But you dropped out for some reason.
Yeah. So I went to the University of Leeds, and it was like I studied international development. I don't know why I did that, but because I didn't think I could get onto politics with my grades or IR, but you can get on international development. So I was just like, I'll just do that then. And then it's just loads of reading, and I'm not very good at reading. So
same.
I'm not even dyslexic, so I have no excuse. But it was just I feel like it was the wrong time, even though I was a year older than like most of people I knew.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I was a year older than everyone else, or most people, I wasn't fresh from sixth form because I hadn't even finished sixth form. I just felt so different. Like I just felt like I didn't feel homesick because I'd already lived away from home for about a year and a half. It wasn't anything new to me, and I just felt like an outsider. And it was just really like, and I did really badly in some modules, like straight up fail. But then other people got first, and it was just like.
But then that balances out to a 2-2.
I got so afraid of so I went home for Christmas and I had so much fun back in London. I just was like shitting myself about going back to Leeds. And I don't hate Leeds at all. I think Leeds is a brilliant city. I really like the north. It's so much cheaper.
The first thing you name is the fact that everything's cheaper.
Yeah, cheap pints, easy nights out. And where I lived was amazing. I lived in the city centre, so I also had a job there. That probably was a massive positive and a massive negative of Leeds. Like I made so many good work friends because they were all from Leeds Beckett, so they were just less uptight. Like no offense to anyone who goes to uni, I'm not trying to diss anyone here, but I just felt like I should have gone Beckett. But that was like a thing at Leeds. I heard it a lot. Can't hack it, go Beckett, and I thought that was hilarious because it was true. I just couldn't hack it, and I was just so different and. Not even in oh my god, I'm a different way. Like, I think someone said to me, he was like, they're all East London girls like you. And I was like, what have opinions? Like, what do you mean? But yeah, no, I dropped out for loads of reasons. Stress, being dumb, not reading. I made 2 really, really, really good friends, but they were both schools, so that was probably not why I made friends with them, but I really like them. I hope they're not listening. But I can't explain it. I just felt like such an outsider, and it was so many. I think as well. I don't know. I guess I'll never know. But I feel like a little bit was because I'm half Asian, and I lived in such.
What does that have to do with it?
You're racist. No. It was just. Well, to be fair, I did live with 2 international students, and they were really, 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 really nice.
And you're going to say really Asian.
No, they're from Shanghai, I think, and they were so lovely.
Right.
But then I think there were some frustrations in my flat about not everyone being like having English as their first language. And I felt like a weird middle ground because like, which I shouldn't have been just because I'm half white. I just should have been left to my own devices. But just like, it was just a bit. Oh no, I don't know.
So what was your flat like?
There were 6 of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did that thing before you went uni, like you go on Facebook and you find your flatmates. I wish I hadn't done that. I don't know. I just feel like I should have done that.
No, I didn't do that.
Do you think it was good that you didn't?
Yeah, but I also didn't know. We didn't have any way to find out our flatmates until moving in day. That's when people got introduced. But what the uni did was they set up a group chat for every person in the entire building.
Sounds so stupid.
It was like 300 people on one group chat on WhatsApp, and it was pretty funny, especially when there was like a fire alarm and people were ready to fight. They were like, "Who did it?" Started figuring it out.
We had that about people leaving stuff in the washing machine because they'd be like dashing people's clothes out onto the floor, and I came down, I found my Batman pants on the floor, and I was ready to like throw hands. There's no need. I was like, it was only like 5 minutes late, but people would, just that group chat was a mess. I wish I hadn't joined any of that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd lived somewhere more. Like I had an ensuite room, and
yeah.
I actually had a disabled room. It was really massive.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to get a disabled room, but apparently something went wrong with my registration, and I didn't get it.
Oh, you should have sued. Dyslexic like students are like a serious issue, you know.
Yeah, no, I can get disabled room now. Technically, if
really?
if there's no one else more disabled than me, it goes in hierarchy of disability. So it's like paralyzed from the neck down, wheelchair, like severe crutches, dyslexic.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's normal people then dyslexic.
Yeah.
You're talking social hierarchy.
Yeah, of course. But it was I was supposed to get that room, but something went wrong, and then I didn't, which is sad because I know they're massive.
Yeah, I got a full-size bed as well. Like it was, but I was never in it. Like I was always at work. It was just a waste of a disabled room, and it cost a lot. It was one of the more expensive accommodations. My dad helped a lot, but I wish I'd stayed at like a cheaper one. I don't know. Maybe I would have been with like. Oh, I don't know how to put it because I don't want to like. It wasn't necessarily awful my experience, but I just wish I'd stayed somewhere cheaper with like people with less money, I guess. Maybe. I don't want to insult anyone. If you get that.
Just carry on. You said you would wish you rather have been in a cheaper accommodation.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, I wish I'd been in a cheap accommodation for one financially, second, just to like I don't know, maybe be with people who didn't come from like because I remember like one day we like compared like because they were quite curious as to like the size of my house in London because the assumption is if you're from London you're quite rich and like when my house is quite normal size. I wouldn't say it's a big house. It's not tiny by any means in London, but they were quite surprised and I was just like I'm not made of money, like, and it just felt like that was like an immediate kind of showing of like how different I was, and I feel like a lot of it as well is being from London just makes you different. I think I think it's like just better as well. Like I don't know, would I be wrong in saying Northern banter is just racism? I'm not sure.
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't been that far to comment, but
yeah.
I feel like there is like this stigma when you go up north that people from London are like up their own arse, so they think they're better than everyone else, and then the Northerners get annoyed at that.
Yeah.
So they instantly don't like you. But I feel like, do you think if you had a different flat that you might have stayed at uni all the way instead of dropping out?
Honestly, I want to say no. I don't know. I have no idea, and I wish I did know. But like, my dad asked me recently because he's like not impressed that I dropped out. Like, sort of, you can just see when he walks into the living room and like I'm just on the sofa crippled. He's just looking at me like, ugh.
I swear your dad looked at you like that always, though.
Yeah, he was having a drink recently, and like he sat on the sofa, and he was like maybe like 2/3 of a bottle way through, and he sat down, looked me up and down, went fuck off. He's so rude, but like anyway, a massive detour, but just I don't think I would have stayed 3 years at Leeds, because I just don't think I was ready for uni. Like there was just, or maybe it's the London thing, because I am thinking I'm working on a UCAS application right now, but I need to find a fucking reference, and I'm not sure who's going to give me a good one.
Your dad?
He would just be like begging, like, please take her, please. I'll give you. He'll like offer like double tuition fees. But I think it may be. I've just moved. Well, I haven't moved out yet, but this weekend I'm moving out into further east, and I just think it'll be just better for me just moving, like living on my own, and then I would love to commute. I'd love to commute into uni, like while living where I've grown up, and I didn't realise my like love for like northeast London until I left. And oh man, I missed it. Like I missed the pub that I worked with my workmates. I just missed London so much, and I just took it for granted. And that was like, I didn't expect to feel that. I thought Leeds was gonna be lit because I was like, yeah, it's cheaper, yeah, it's still a city, yeah, this, yeah, that. But then it was just, uni's definitely overhyped, I think.
Really?
But yeah, I think so. Do you not?
I'm in the camp of, and I've said it before. It's uni is, I guess I'd say it's overhyped, but I think there's no point of going to uni unless it's like a necessity for your career choice. Because you kind of, if you want to be a doctor or a surgeon, you have to go to uni. There's no other option. That is the only part. There's no apprenticeship that lets you, sometimes do like brain surgery, like on the side. But if you just want to like get into business or something, you're better off just working straight out of secondary school. It's a much better opportunity. And if there is an apprenticeship, you should take that instead.
Yeah,
it's way better.
Because I looked into apprenticeships and I was just like, I just don't see myself doing it. But then I like asked myself, do I see myself doing anything except working at Spoons? But but just like, I just thought it was so overhyped, and I just maybe if I'd left when I was 18 from sixth form with my little A levels, my little ABB or whatever, I would have been more happy because I would have felt all the experiences like properly. Yeah. But because I'd spent like I moved out of home at 17 into Gillingham, but so I had all the like, I just did all that with a different set of flatmates, and like my first year away from home, I lived with people who were like 22, 23, 24, 25, like, and they properly looked after me, like, and they were telling me like, oh, they were the ones that introduced me to all the drinks that like I now get nowadays. Like I don't do the whole drink that every like student drinks. Like fucking hate Strongbow dark fruit, disgusting drink. But they told me from the get-go, this is disgusting. You need to have double Kraken and Coke, and I love that drink. That's fueled some nights out for me.
You became bougie real quick.
Yes, 100%. I'm bougie as fuck. But yeah, I just had like, because I wasn't with loads of 18-year-olds, so I didn't like, which I kind of, it's not a bad thing at all. I just had people like telling me what was up like quick and what not to do. Like don't go meet strangers from Tinder, like, not that I have, but no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did all that, and then the second year at Kent, I lived with loads of, well, same thing, people that are older than me, so I didn't like them. They didn't like me. We never saw each other. But I was just over it. By the time I moved to Leeds, this is my third student flat, and I was just like, oh, I just can't be bothered to do the whole like go into the room, take pictures of everything so they don't mug me with a deposit. And I often missed out on loads of nights out because I'd come back from my shift and they'd be all like at prees, and I just wouldn't have the energy to well, sometimes I would join in and go on the night out straight after work, but I'd argue for my mental health that wasn't great.
Yeah, probably needed to take some time off.
Yeah, exactly. That was, I don't know, it was fun, like coming home like in my fucking like Hop House 13 shirt and then like just down like necking pints and then going out, like, but then sometimes I just think like just slow down, I should have slowed down.
I think I'm one of the very few people that basically never went out in first year.
What was that? That's not a bad thing at all.
No, it's just not my thing. Like I don't really go out like normally in the summer or anything. When I say go out, I mean go out clubbing.
Yeah.
And doing that basic stuff. I prefer just going out and doing something, like actually going outside or into London and going and doing something in there.
Yeah.
Getting some nice food, having a laugh, playing FIFA with the boys. I think that's so much more fun than.
Oh, don't have any boys people. I don't know. I'm more of a. I guess I was basic when I was in Leeds because I would, if it was a Saturday and I weren't working, like O2 Academy, you would see me there at project. Like if you wanted to find me, that's where I was. Like, and it got to the point where people knew that. Just like I'd be really drunk in the club at like 2, and then they'd message like, "Are you a project?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, of course I am." Like, duh. But or even like I remember when I left work, they were like, "How are you celebrating?" Like quitting a job, and I was like, "I'm going project." I'm just so basic. But generally now that I'm in London, clubbing in London is so much more expensive. I'm mainly at pubs. I just love a pub. That's more my thing. And
yeah,
I didn't do that much in Leeds, but I just didn't have anyone at Leeds. Like actually, no, I did with towards when I said to my 2 only friends, "Oh, I'm dropping out." They were like, "Please don't," and I was like, "Nope, I'm dropping out." And then I spent like the last 2 weeks of Leeds just project, pub, and packing, and it was so fun. But then obviously I was leaving, and that's when I got properly close to the people I was friends with, because we would just go out drinking, and like I felt bad because I was just like, "Oh, I wish we'd done more of this when I was here, because it would have been better to have like that." I don't know.
Close friendship.
Yeah, because and then also there's also a horrible pressure of like, I don't know if it's the same as your uni, but like tells people this, but they sort of say, "Oh, you have to get a house by Christmas. You've got to sort out your second year house." So I was panicking because I was like, no one likes me because I'm not white, and because, and because I'm loud, and because I'm this, and I was like, everyone hates me here. What am I gonna do next year? And then so I signed for a house with one of my lovely flatmates, Kirsten, who I still talk to sometimes. I signed for a house, but then obviously I dropped out, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've actually signed a binding contract." So that was a mare finding a girl to replace me. But then that was another thing that affected it, because there was just my whole flat. Everyone was just finding people to live with, and I remember like talking to like another friend of mine there who like I didn't hate at all. She felt loads of pressure, and it quite upset her a lot that some people just find their groups, and there's definitely an aesthetic at Leeds, like these big groups of people that wear like secondhand clothes, and they just look like cool. Whereas I like was always in a spoon shirt, or like I just always looked tired. I remember the thing I got the first in was this presentation, and that's where I made my 2 friends, Kate and Liv. But I remember the reason I was put in a group with them is because I didn't turn up to my first seminar because I was just exhausted from a night shift or like a late shift at work. So I didn't turn up. So I was lumped into a group with them. We had to go first as punishment. So I felt bad. But then I remember like on the day of meeting them, so I messaged them. I'm so sorry I didn't turn up the first one. Do you want to meet at the library 11 on Friday? They were like, yeah, of course. And they seemed really nice. And then I remember waking up at like 11:30 on the day, like after like a shift at that nightclub, and I was just like, oh fuck, and just text them. Like we look back and laugh at it, but the text was like just verbal diarrhea. It was just like, okay, I'm so sorry. And then I just looked shambolic when I arrived there, and I think that when they looked at me, they were like, "We're not going to get a first with this girl." But then, like, we did. It's like, but we ended up being really good friends. But I was always just looking ill. I was so ill all the time at Leeds as well, like constantly getting a cold, constantly getting flu. It was bad. Like I was always ill. And I don't know what that was. I don't know if it was fresh as flu, but I just kept getting it, and it didn't stop till I came back to London. I just stopped. I haven't been ill since moving home. And
That's
I don't
good.
stress. Thanks. It is good.
Yeah. like you say, you did group work with them, and obviously you've had a good experience because you've met such like close friends. But
Yeah.
I've had some like awful group work, and it's probably the thing I despise most at uni is doing group
Really?
work. I hate it. I hate it so much because pretty much everyone's unreliable, or they just don't do work to like the standard that I want, or like I'm in this to get a first, and these people are just skating by, and I have to pull their weight, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I hate it.
That's just luck. I think I just got lucky with who I was put with, because I'd say I'm not like the brightest spark, but
neither am I.
Yeah, but I think me and you, like, I would not want to let someone else down like that, because I remember I apologized so profusely to them. I think they thought I was nuts because I was trying to go vegan as well, and then afterwards we went to Subway and I got like the most meaty sandwich with like double cheese, and so they thought I was completely nuts. But I was like, I promise you, we'll pull this out the bag. And I'm one of those weird people. I believe in star signs.
Oh.
My friend's a Capricorn, and she's just proper like. I remember, like, I told her this, like, when I saw her, I thought, I'm gonna hate this bitch, because she was sitting there like good posture, because my back is always like curved. Good
that might be scoliosis.
No, I've already got a broken ankle. No more diagnoses, please. But she was sat there with her like little notebook out, all her pens, her highlighters were like aligned, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I was so annoyed. And then like I sat down, I was like, do you have a pen? And she just, but then apparently I said something like weird, and she was like, oh, I knew I liked you then. And so I was like, oh, thanks. But it was like so lucky I met them, because if I hadn't met them, I don't know what I would have done at Leeds. Like, but that was my positive, and I got a first in that presentation.
That's impressive. I mean, that just reminds me of how you introduce yourself to me.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we were put in the same maths class, and this was like the first time that anyone, usually the year split into two halves, and it was like in year 9, they mixed like all of the halves together in all the lessons. So I started meeting all these people that I've never seen in my life, and I got put next to May, and I turned around to talk to someone like who was sitting behind me, and like mid conversation, you just turn to me and you say, "Could you please shut up? You have a really annoying voice."
Unprovoked.
Yeah, I didn't say. I've never met you before. That was the first thing you said to me, and I was like, so in shock. I didn't know how to respond to that, so I just carried on. And then you just turned around, and and then you got annoyed because we were in every single lesson together. So you kept seeing. Yeah, we were in art, ICT, maths, geography. I think that's it off the top of my head.
A lot though. Like that was
4 out of 11.
See you in school.
Yeah. We also had a lot of art detentions.
Oh, yeah. I hated art. Like art ruined my like love for sketching or drawing. Like,
oh, same.
It's so bad though. Like I would not recommend doing an art GCSE or A-level to anyone, which is bad because I don't know if you need that to get into like art college. But just
most of the time
out of school, because it just takes the love out. Because I fucking hated Picasso. Like just. I thought Cubism was shit. Like the way our teacher would say it, like Cubism, and I was just like, I don't want to do Cubism.
Do you remember when one of the guys in the class was like the bell rang as he was like in the doorway stepping in to the lesson, and she was in the doorway as well waiting for everyone, and he was like walking past her, the bell rang at the same time, and he was like late and got sent out.
I think teachers have such a hard job, but some teachers I'm just like, how are you allowed in school? Like, I don't know. Yeah. That's just a whole waste of, for being like, I get punishing someone, but if they're walking through the door, like, and it's a one-off, I mean, like, if they've done that like 5 times, like, because you can just apply it to work. Like, if someone, like a pub, like, you should get there 5 minutes early so you can get your radio on, get your apron on, whatnot. But if you get there, if it's a one-off, and you get there, like, you shouldn't be punished like that. And I know that was the other frustrating thing about school. Like, they try to say, we're preparing you for uni. Why do you have to wear business wear then? Because at uni, I was in a hoodie all the time. Like, and I haven't worn a button-up shirt since leaving sixth form, and I don't think I fucking will. Like, I just don't see my office.
The whole school system is like outdated and ancient. Like, even now, they can't even say anything about workwear because people are working from home and they're like doing business calls with like no underpants on and just a button-up shirt. Like, there's no standards.
Yeah.
And they're trying to teach us this like cookie cutter way of producing basically factory workers from school. No creativity, no form of expression allowed. Like, my brother got told off because he cut his school trousers and cropped them, like, so you could see like a bit of sock, and he used to wear like colorful socks.
What a slut.
Yeah, and he got told off, and my mom had to buy new trousers, and then the school changed the rules, and then you're not allowed to wear any other color socks apart from black. Like,
I just don't see the point. And I like what you said about cookie cutter way of life. Like, that's like exact same for me, because I just did not work with the normal GCSE A-level uni career, because I'm 20 now and I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm happy at least. And just and I feel like so many people, you shouldn't be pushed onto A-level so much. And I felt like at our sixth form, you push that you do uni or like choke, like just They were so happy to see me gone. I honestly think I loved some of the teachers at our school, but like I almost got, when I left, there was a sense of relief. Like, oh, it's not going to be like another like D student or an E or a U, no, me student like on our results, because that's another. The government just pressures schools like they're just, everything's assessed on grades, and like there's so much pressure, which is why they put the students under pressure. But it's just the pressure is immense, like, and it just doesn't work for some people. Like, I'm so happy I did an access course. Even though I dropped out of uni, I still have an access course to fall back on, which is still some great grades that are accepted at like at least I'd say 70% of uni. Some unis don't accept it. Like, I have an access course in humanities, so of course I can't go to medical school. That's enough. But I still have options, and I'm so glad that I did, rather than force myself to sit through A-levels, because I don't even know if I'll ever have a job where I have to wear a certain colour of sock. Like, it just doesn't sound like a fun workplace environment.
No. The best and the biggest companies in the world, like Apple and Google, actively like detest that kind of thought.
Exactly.
Like, their whole premise is like open, expressive, like individuals. They don't want these like cookie cutter people. So it's just this. The whole education system, in my mind, has to be changed from top to bottom in every way, because it's just wrong. Every part of it's wrong. Teachers don't want to teach that way. Students don't want to learn that way. No one's really benefiting out of it. The whole like the UK's like literacy rate is like so low in comparison to other countries. Just it's embarrassing for being.
We're embarrassing as a country. Like, I just so embarrassed about.
I don't associate with this country.
I don't know her. But like, it's just, there should be like, the school system should be changed. Well, I guess my opinion would be more like probably like a left wing style. Like, just after this whole A-levels thing, I'll just get rid of private schools. Just get rid of.
I'm fine with private schools. Like, if people want to pay for schools, like, fine, sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have anything wrong with that. But it's because they pay for schooling that the school has more money where they can employ better teachers and better people, and then in turn have better grades across the board.
Because if they hadn't done this U-turn, it basically would have been any like private school kid basically paid for their grades. Like, that's why I was kind of like, I do have friends from private schools, like who earned their grades 100% like last year, but this year I just, when you know me, I get quite annoyed about stuff quite easily. I remember like looking at people, I think I was scrolling through Instagram, and I think it's quite like, it's fair enough if you know that purple UCAS track screen, and like I'd say our school year everyone shared that, and I loved looking. I was like, oh, congratulations, like so and so got to Sussex. But this year it just was not on to share that on, because out of respect for, even if you'd got into your choice, I think a couple of private school kids who from younger years that I just follow on Insta, they were sharing, like, they were like celebrating, and I like just blocked them. I was like, no, stop. Like, why? You know, when it's just like, it's almost like if someone went, oh, you see going to a friend like, oh, I have a problem, and then it goes like, well, I don't, and just like starts celebrating. So it just sensitive to me, and I just was just like, no, dead this. I don't want to associate myself with people who like show off in a time where there's people like crying because they've missed out on all their options, like because of one. Because that's what one of my friends, the friend I made at Leeds, she was same age as me as well, and she had to redo one of her A levels because I think it was art, because art they just fucked her over in the end with the coursework because they went, oh, by the way, this doesn't go through. Then she came out with an E, and then Leeds wouldn't accept her because of the 1E grade, and that's all it takes for a uni like to reject you, and she didn't want to go to any other ones, so it's fair enough, but it's just like, I'm glad they've done the U-turn, but it's a little bit late because like some like places like St Andrews, Cambridge, they're already filled their places. So like,
yeah, I mean the people that were gonna get into those kind of like schools, they were set from the beginning. Like the people who are getting in there are getting in there regardless. Like that's not really gonna change that much. It's more of and this is what my like annoyance with like universities and especially like the league tables. That I hate the league tables so much. It's such a flawed way of looking at what's a good university and what isn't.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like it's always pushed on, and it's such a like that question at Leeds. It was always a question. Oh, are you uni of or Beckett? And it's like it's a really like it's either a condescending question if it's asked by a uni of student because they just look down on Beckett students. Whereas if a Beckett student, they're sort of they're basically asking, are you a snobby cunt? And it's just like. Because I remember when I worked at Spoons in Leeds, a massive one. It was huge. It was mental, that pub, but like I worked there, and a lot of like the students would ask me like, "Oh, which one did you go to?" And it's such a judgment of character, and it's like I get like a friendly rivalry is fine, but it was the whole league tables thing. It just annoys me because like at the end of the day, you're there to get a degree, no? Like it shouldn't matter, and it's just. Like who, because I think a lot of people don't realize when you leave uni, no one's asking, like it is just on your CV and it looks great, but like in conversation you don't go like, oh, I did this. It's almost like, you know, when you go to uni, it's like you don't ask someone's A-level grades because it doesn't fucking matter, you're all in the same place. You could be in the same room as someone who got like me, who whenever people would ask me like, oh, what A levels do you have, and I'd go like with chess, like I have none, and it's just like they get so confused, like, oh, and they almost like assume that I'm stupid, and it's I'm not stupid, I just can't sit in a room and do an exam. Like, I got that a lot of Leeds, like, oh, what A levels did you do? And it's just I was just, oh, fuck's sake, didn't do them, and because no one really knows about access, and then there's all that like stigma with BTECs being done, but BTECs can still get you to uni, like. You all end up at the same destination. It doesn't matter if you flew like first class or like economy, in my opinion. Like, I mean, like a metaphor.
Yeah, I didn't get into my like first choice of well, no, I got into Brunel, which is my first choice, but I didn't get into the course I wanted. They offered me a foundation year, and I think it was the best thing that ever happened to me because. 100%. Sorry.
100%.
Yeah, like it was brilliant. I actually taught myself how to learn properly instead of just like winging it all the time, and that's what I did for my A levels and GCSEs. And I have no one to blame but myself for what grades I got. Like I was just lazy, and I didn't want to learn. I really couldn't be asked. I was working, and I enjoyed making money more than I did learning, and it didn't help that school was just so bad, and I had basically no teachers for any lesson. I just come in and it's like, okay, all my lessons today are cancelled. I just have to walk in and sign in. It was so like degrading, and I didn't want to be in school. I was like, what is the point of this during the day when I can go on the weekend and I can make like 100 quid a day? It's like, what? I don't see any benefit. So I focused on that.
Yeah.
I still have no money to my name, but I still focused on that.
Same. I still have my student overdraft, which I don't know what I'm going to do about, but I'm just keeping that quiet. Like I just ignore it when I open my banking app.
Well, if there is like a date where it stops being a student overdraft and then it becomes a real one, and after that point, that date, that's when you get charged interest.
Okay.
So I think it might be beneficial finding out what that is, because depending on how much you have, it could be quite a bit.
I'm really worried now. No, I just ignore it till it becomes a problem. That's the way I approach life. Just ignore, like, just repress until it explodes, and then cry and have a pint.
My kind of thing is like solve it as fast as possible. Like, let's get it done now. Do it. Go. That's kind of been my approach recently.
Show off.
It's not a show off. It was just I was lazy, and now I've found motivation, and now I just want to get that satisfaction of getting things done. It's just so good. Especially like I know so many people that were doing assignments on my course, and we have like an unreal amount of work, and people were just like leaving it for weeks, and I never understood. I was like you do realize each of these like assignments takes like 4 or 5 hours a piece to write up, and that's not even just like researching and doing all the little bits in between. You're leaving it like 4 of them until the last week. I don't get it. Plus, if you do it early, you're done. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah. To be fair, when I was at Leeds, I still did my work on time. Actually, like I never handed in anything late. I do leave it a bit late, but I never like let it, because I wished that what's that thing in first year, like first year doesn't count. I wish people add on the end, but you still have to pass though. Like
yeah,
everyone just forgot that bit, like that bit was silent or something. But because I remember I had a meeting with like one of my tutors, and he was just like, and I was like saying how like stressed I was, but and he was just like, well, I wish people wouldn't say that, because I know that first year doesn't count, but you still have to pass. I remember like sitting in the office.
Yeah. Or if you want to go on a placement, the only grades they have for reference are first year.
Oh shit, yeah.
So everything else, like your A levels, your GCSEs, but your university work is like the first thing they look at, because it's the most recent and the hardest. So they look at that first. So when you're applying for placements, if you did like you passed but you didn't do that well, that all gets looked at later on. So that was kind of because I did foundation, I knew that was coming up, and foundation I really just had to pass. It didn't really do anything else. But first year my focus was on doing as well as I could just for placement, to give myself a fighting edge, because I know everyone else from a better uni is going to have like a slightly upper hand just coming from that university. So I had to put in the work to catch up.
That's it. Foundation year sounds good. I reckon I should have done one. I didn't apply for any that offered them, I think.
Yeah. There was a girl on my course that did an access course, and then a whole access course, and then a foundation, 2 foundation years, and then failed the last foundation year and couldn't get in.
Oh, that's so peak.
Yeah. I mean, that is just rough.
That's how life works, so sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes it just works out nicely that way.
Yeah. Like I'm definitely not proud that I dropped out, like it's not, but you just gotta like take things at your own pace. Like that's another thing, the whole expectation go to uni when you're 18, like that shouldn't be a thing, because if I do go next year, it'll be when I'm 21, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like they call you a mature student, it's me, I'm not gonna be mature for fuck's sake, but like yeah, I'm excited to try again, because I'll feel more ready, and I'll know like what's going to happen, because that's another thing, they don't teach you anything about how your student loan works, how you pay them back, how to manage it, like how do you manage, just because I remember when my student loan dropped, the first thing I did was buy the new iPhone. That's when my overdraft started. I actually think, that was bad. I owed can I say this? I owed an ex-boyfriend money, and he was being so annoying about it. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy the new iPhone, like sod off, and it just caused me no end of problems, but no regrets. Love my iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit like obsessive of like figuring things out and doing things early in that sense, and I'm such a nerd. Like I'm actually like a real nerd because I've got like spreadsheets made for like my personal finances and tracking my grades and all those kind of things. Like
No.
yeah, but I'm doing it now where everyone's like, "Oh, nerd," and then I always get messages in like a couple of years. It's like, "Oh yeah, how'd you do that?" Like people catch on that really that's what they should have been doing from the start.
No, I agree because I for moving out, I've had to do a budget of like obviously council tax bills, rent, and then my income. And I think I put it on my story. I I put all the numbers in, and it came out like I was like, what do I have left? I was like, oh, minus 300, and I was like, oh shit. So I haven't quite got the hang of it, but I got the right idea, you know.
Yeah, it's really easy. It doesn't take long, especially to do it like really simply.
Yeah.
For someone, you like as soon as someone gets their how much they're getting from student finance, they need to take off their rent and like bills or whatever straight away. That's the first thing that goes, and then everything else after that is your food and
Yeah, you can get yourself a weekly budget and stuff. That's what I did in Kent. I set myself a weekly budget.
yeah. And I know so many people that don't do that, or people that get the full student finance, which is 12 grand. You don't need that much, but they end up spending all of it because they don't use that money, or they use that money on just like random stuff because it's like, oh, I have this money, might as well spend it. Whereas they could put it somewhere to invest it, putting it in a savings account that's like locked for a year with good interest. Like no one thinks of that.
Oh shit, I need to do that. There's so much adulting I need to do.
Yeah, adulting is it's hard.
It is. It's fun, but it's hard. It's just that's what everyone realizes at some point. I'm realizing it. Like, I love independence so much. Like that's been the worst thing about having a fractured ankle. Like I just have no. My dad went away for a week like a couple of weeks ago, and I had some friends come over and help cook for me. But there was one night I had no one, and my brother was at work, so I had to like make myself like scrambled eggs and just stand in the kitchen and eat it because I can't take the plate with me to sit down. So I think independence is great, and that's a great thing that uni does give you is independence. Like, because I feel like I don't want to come across someone that slags off uni because I think it's great. It's not for everyone, and I think they should tell more people that. But it gives you a great like loads of independence, and that's like a really important thing.
Like personal freedom is something that you don't realize how important it is until you have it.
Like, or if you don't have it, like
yeah,
well, it's taken off you.
Exactly. So, and I think that's where a lot of people get lost in that, where they either come from somewhere that's really strict or they can't do much, and then they have like they go from 0 to 100, and they have full freedom to do whatever they like, and they don't really know where to start, so they start doing everything. And a lot of people fuck up in that, and there's not enough openness about what university is like or is. It's just like, oh yeah, uni's sick, you go out, you drink all night, you shag like all the time, go to lectures, you get a degree, it's easy. Like, and there's not really any real information as to what it actually is like.
Yeah, exactly. And I found as well, I don't know if I found that seeing a lot of 18-year-olds, like a lot of people would try like hard drugs and right in the off the bat in freshers and just really overdo it, which is really dangerous. Like, and because I'm not against that at all, like whatsoever, but I think a lot of the time, if you come from school at 18 and you're quite like you're like you're introverted and you got the highest grades in your sixth form, I have to find they were the kids that in freshers would go the most wild, like absolutely do it, because there's this horrible social pressure that that's what being cool is, and because you weren't like that at sixth form, you sort of like lash out, and I just, which is like sad and like, but it's fair enough, but just like be more safe. And then like you say, it's so like it's shown to you that you have to drink all the time, you have to like fuck everything that breathes, you should do drugs, like whatever. You don't have to do any of that, and if you do, you should do it safely. Like, and because drinking a lot, I don't think a lot of people realize drinking loads really like can affect your mental health. Like, because the times you're not drunk and I think a lot of the time you'll have like a really heavy weekend, and then like midweek you're like, I'm really unhappy, and that's like a really hard thing that people, because it would just be like some mornings I just feel, like, I feel awful. You put on a lot of weight from drinking a lot. Well, I put on a lot of weight at uni, and then you just I feel shit, and like your skin's all bad, and then it's just people don't show you that side of uni.
Yeah, people don't like talking openly about how uni like makes them feel, and I was definitely not in that camp because I spent most of my time in the library like a nerd.
You were thriving. You were going gym.
Yeah, yeah. I went gym pretty much every day. I went to the library, did my work, and then on free time I just like chill with friends, and I think that was just way more fun than going out and drinking all the time because I don't even like drinking that much anyway. But but I wasn't gonna be that person, especially on like Freshers Week, to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna go out, not gonna drink anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like stopping myself from meeting people. Then it's like, oh, I guess I'm just not gonna meet anyone. But I did, and then once I found people who thought the same as me, that really weren't into drinking and really didn't care for that kind of like typical uni life, we had our own thing going on. It was so much more fun.
Yeah, because sometimes like pre's are the most fun part of a night out, but then I found that in my accommodation it wasn't a social, so we didn't really do pre's as much, and it was. I would have loved some like flat nights in where you just sit and just get a takeaway and just watch like Love Island or something.
Yeah.
I didn't do that enough because that's what I'm really looking forward to about moving in with I'm moving in with two girls I used to work with and one of their mates. And I'm really excited because although we all fucking love a drink, there will be nights where I know it's like we can just have like a cup of tea and chat some shit. Like that's what I'm more about because I feel like uni is just drink, and just do it every single weekend, like, and that's the way it looks. And I guess if you looked on my social media or anyone else's, you think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But there were some really unhappy times at uni, and I don't know if that's avoidable, but they need to like make it more known. Like, it will be like a struggle as well, because it was really sad. Like, I think I didn't really tell my dad what's going on until one day. I was at a train station and I was having an awful time. I just missed my train, the last one going back to Leeds. I think I was in Nottingham visiting a friend, and then I just remember like I just had like an argument with the train. I was like, mate, come on, just let me on, and he was like, no, and as if he was like the police or something. And then I just sat on this bench and just like. I hadn't cried in weeks, and then I just burst into tears in the station. And then I rang my dad, and I was like, okay, I have no money for a train ticket. And then he was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you crying? And I just said, like, I just hate it. I'm having such a hard time. I can't keep up with anything. And I wish I'd done that sooner. And then after that, I did go into uni. I spoke to like my tutors, and I said, I'm really, really, really struggling. And they were so helpful, actually. Like, one of my seminars was at 9 a.m. And I said, I always work the Wednesday shift. I always work, and we always finish at 4. It's always really bad. It's always really late. And I said, I just can't. And she just went like, all right, I get you. Money's hard. Just come to my 1 p.m. seminar. And she just helped me immediately. And I wish I'd known that before. Like, I just bottled it all up, kept drinking loads. And then all I had to do was go in. And she was so funny. Like, we had a proper laugh, and she completely helped me, and they are there to help. It's just you feel like you can't. And
yeah, people don't realize that it's uni and school are so different. And uni, every person at uni, their whole job is to make your life like as smooth as possible. Like there's pretty much every course has like staff that just work on like student queries and help for anything on your course to make things easier for you, what suits you better, whether that's moving things around, or there's a whole like support center for if you have any like disabilities or mental health issues, and there's this entire infrastructure built around making sure you're doing as well as possible in every way. And whereas in school it doesn't feel that way, and everyone's trying to get you to do like the best possible, whereas in school it feels like there's so many people and it's not personal at all. Every teacher's just there, and no one's really passionate about what they're teaching, and
Yeah.
no one it seems like no one cares about you in school. Whereas at university, I've definitely felt like there's so many people there to help no matter what. You just send one email and you get put in the right direction no matter what.
Yeah, that is true, and it's also, I feel like it should be less frowned upon, maybe to get that. You should seek out that help because it's there. What you're paying, how much, like 925, nine, whatever, maths. You're paying 9K a year. Like reap the benefits, like, because I remember I texted a friend. I was like, I'm gonna fail this module, I don't know what to do, because she'd been to Leeds a couple of years before me, and she went, you go into the office and tell them I'm gonna fail and they'll help you, like it's their job. And as long as it's on record that you went, it will do you like a world of benefit, like.
Yeah.
So next time I do go uni, I'm gonna know to utilize that, like drop it, like use the office hours, like and I feel like I sound like a uni tutor now, like, oh please come to my office, like that's what it felt like, but it was actually quite nice. Like I just I wish I'd used that more. So at least I've made my mistakes in first year. And how much tuition loan did I lose? I don't know. That's another thing people don't realise. You get student finance call it a gift year. They shouldn't call it a gift year because it's not a gift to get more loan to pay back. But if for some reason you had to drop out of first year, you can still return to a 3-4 year course and you don't suffer. Because usually what they do is they give you less loan each year. But if you say why you dropped out, they'll just gift you the other 3 years, so it won't affect you as much. Because that's what I was really worried about. I was like, oh god, I'm going to get maybe like $1,000 yet less each year I go uni now, but that's not the case apparently. And that's because Leeds were really kind to me when I dropped out, because I had to meet with the head of the course, and he was so lovely. And he was, I'm pretty sure I've seen you before, and I was like, I don't know where you got that from because I don't go to lectures, but yeah. And he was so nice, and so he just listened, and he was like, it sounds like you know what you need to go home and work for a bit and then return to uni another day. And I was like 100%. And then he was the one that told me, make sure you tell student finance and you get your extra year if you wish to return. And they wish you the best of luck, and it was really nice actually. I had the experience with everyone, all the staff, in the last like month I was there.
I've had only positive experiences with staff at uni pretty much. There's a couple of people that were like, in every place it's like, oh, just leave me alone, let me talk to someone nice.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. But pretty much everyone, especially if you find like that one member of staff that's really good, you usually go back to that same person all the time. That's what I've done.
Yeah. Because once I visited one of my it was my international relations tutor. Once I visited him, every time I would come into a seminar, he'd like just be like nicer to me, like because he knew I was just like an anxious weirdo, like and he was really encouraging. And I remember when I did my presentation, he was in the back like giving me a thumbs up, and I was like, oh man, I miss that guy.
That reminds me of this is just a random story, but when we started first year, there's 2 halves of my course, and because there's a lot of people, they can't fit everyone in. So the one half, I remember coming in and I saw like this guy, and he was just sitting there, but he was wearing a windbreaker that was like half zipped up, but he had like no t-shirt or anything on underneath. And you could see his like whole chest, and he was sitting in the lecture hall by himself, like really greasy head, only wore slides with no socks. And I thought he was gonna kill me.
He sounds delicious. You should have sat with him.
I mean, it was very uncomfortable, and he always wears that windbreaker with no t-shirt.
But that would feel uncomfortable in the nipples. I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe he does it because of his chafing nipples or something.
Maybe he likes it. Maybe that's his thing.
Yeah, but it's very odd.
Looking at like what everyone was wearing in lectures, like, because I think our course was quite left wing, but like it was one politics, they were playing like the lecturers playing devil's advocate, and he was like, so who's here for like, who believes that it should be okay to have a personal like firearm? And then it was just like this tiny little cluster of 3 like obvious like Tories, like you could just see that they were put their hands straight up in the middle of them. You like just see like all the like glaring at them, and I thought it was brilliant. But I never really talked to anyone I sat with in lectures. Like sometimes I would, and we get the awkward like they'd add me on Facebook, and I'd never speak to them again. But just like I spent most of my time like just looking at other people's laptops because like I remember I sat behind this guy, and he was just on Snap, and I was just being really nosy, and he straight up he opened this Snap, and it was just this girl's like nudes, like full blown, and he got straight up and just left the lecture. And I rate that so much. Like I was just like, oh, good for you. And I felt so. I had nothing to do in the lecture after that because he left. I couldn't look at his phone anymore. So I took some notes.
I mean, I take notes on my iPad, so a lot of the time I'll just put Netflix on instead and put an AirPod in and listen to that because I can't be bothered. And I'm sure I think I was watching like The Hangover or in lecture, and someone behind me just started laughing at a funny bit. So they were clearly because I had the captions on, and they were just joining in. I was like, sure thing. I mean, go ahead. Let's all enjoy this movie.
Your uni sounds so much more fun. Like that just wouldn't happen at Leeds because everyone's so like just on it. Like just smart. Like I don't know, but boring. Like you can be smart and fun.
Yeah. No, Brunel is I feel like I don't know because I haven't been to any other uni, but it feels so Americanized. Like it's not like a UK uni because like the most popular like people are the basketball team and the American football team. There's like a central like quad area that's like just open grass and people just sit there during the day like throwing a ball or passing like throwing a frisbee. Like that, and it's one big campus instead of being like loads of sections, so it's just this enclosed area where everyone lives, so it just feels so American.
And the American uni experience actually looks sick. Like
yeah,
I know, I 100% I prefer, like I like being British. Like I make fun of Americans all the time, but their uni experiences look so fun, even though the one thing they do wrong is like you see TikToks of like American drinking parties. It's just like we're gonna get so drunk, and they put like one bottle of vodka, and then they put like 8 squash, and I'm just like, what are you doing? But other than that, it looks so like because that's definitely like I love the films 21 and 22 Jump Street. I thought they looked so funny. Like that's the uni experience. Like I want to do spring break, but little UK unis, there's no way. But yeah, like. Brunel sounds good actually, like because don't they have like I swear the most fun looking unis have like viral videos, and I'm pretty sure it's Brunel was like in one lecture everyone's just like dancing and like whining on each other. Like I don't know.
There's the Afro-Caribbean Society are always on like doing something. They shut down the car park because they were all just dancing in unison, like a couple hundred people.
That's
or
sick.
Brunel had invited Katie Hopkins to a seminar, and then everyone left like as soon as she came in. Someone got like arrested in the middle of the library on like a Saturday.
See, this is why it sounds better because like the league table bullshit, like people would like look down on you for like having going to like a lower but like if you'd had that experience, like why fucking not? Like just it sounds way more fun than being from a place where like a lot of private school people have come from, or just like I don't know. London's just better. Like I don't know. I don't know who I'm going to apply for, but they've got to be like easy to get to from East London. But I don't care about tables anymore. That's what I'm doing like this year round. Not caring about the tables, not caring about like what people think. Because like at the end of the day, once you're out of uni, no one cares. Like
yeah, no one really gives a shit.
I don't care. Yeah, I just literally couldn't give a flying fuck about where you went. Like, because there's so much more to people than their education and their school. Like, I've met some great people just from work. Like, you just meet. I feel like uni gives you sometimes gives you like a small, your mind's kind of closed, because that's what that's another thing about Leeds. I thought I'd be meeting loads of open-minded people. It was not the case. Like, there was people would kind of tread on eggshells around me, I think. But I remember like someone told me like, "Oh, you missed this game yesterday," and I was like, "Oh yeah, what was that?" And apparently they'd got on Tinder, and then like just like broadcast it and swiped through like loads of girls, but they'd go like, oh, two black, two this, two that, and I like when they told me that, my face was just straight, and they were like, "Do you not find it funny?" And I was like, "No, obviously not." But then I was just astounded that, like, I just thought, like, I swear uni's supposed to be for like, oh my god, I'm so open-minded, and like, oh my god this, oh my god that, but it wasn't. That was straight up racism, and I was like, why would I find that funny? And they were like, oh, you're so this, you're such a London person, and I was just like, oh, why has it always got to go back to me being from London? Like, just
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you went to any flat in Brunel, that couldn't run. There was so many. I've met so many different people at Brunel, like all kinds of different, like interesting people, from really weirdos to really smart people that I'm like so impressed with.
Yeah,
But it's so mixed. It's very. There's no one that I know that came from a private school. And it's definitely, I would definitely say it's not a majority white university either. It's pretty mixed.
yeah, that's good, because I think Leeds is, I looked at recently, Leeds is like less than 10% BME, I think.
Oh, definitely not Brunel. Definitely not.
What was that other London uni where they photographed a picture of like a cow in someone's room? Was that?
It's probably Coventry.
I would love to go to Coventry, you know. Like, I know it's a shambles, but it just looks so fun.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to end it there.
End of what?
I think it's a great place to end the episode.
Okay.
We're going for like an hour and a bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
With it.
It's nice. It's been nice talking to you. Nice having you on. Hopefully, you can come back when your leg isn't, amputated.
Yeah, I can give you a rundown of my bougie East London flat. Well,
Exactly.
it's not a shit. Something don't work.
All right. Make sure you go follow me on Instagram at the studentcast. Follow May as well if you like. And I'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Lovely jubbly. And then everything from now is technically recorded, but I'm gonna cut it out.
Okay. Will you send me like the final version?
Probably not.
Ah!
You're just gonna have to wait until it's uploaded.
I'm so scared. I feel like I was so boring.
No.
You sure?
100%.
I'm like sweating right now.
Why?
I don't know, like, I feel like 40 minutes in, I was like, I'm so boring. I don't know. But that was really fun, thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, you're definitely welcome to come back on again.
Really? I'll be more interesting.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on Tinder.
I'm up for it. I mean, right now I'm just trying to get as many different people as I can.
I think I have one of my friends, he's from a university, Canterbury Christchurch, but he's a paramedic student, and he would love to. He's thinking about making his own podcast, but I think it'd be good for him to get an experience. So I could hook you up with him maybe if he was up for it. Sure.
I mean, just tell him to send me a DM on Instagram. As long as he doesn't say just hello, because I get so many of those weirdos messaging me. As long as he says something that isn't just hello, then
I'll asking for marriage.
Yeah, but I'm 100% down to get anyone else on, especially someone that I've never met before. That'll be even more interesting.
He'll have some stories about being a paramedic student as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, hook me up with him. I'm really interested in that.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll talk to you soon, and you can hear your voice on Spotify eventually.
All right. Okay. That was really fun. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Bye.